Hello, 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 and welcome to the Confidently You podcast with me, your host, Helen, owner, head coach at Fit Girl Club HQ, helping women feel happier, more confident, fitter, healthier, you name it, we do it here. How are you? How has your week been? Is everything going to plan? Have you gone off piste? I don't like to say off the wagon or off track. But if you use something fun like off-piste is actually like, if you're skiing, it's fun, but dangerous. So let's call when you go off plan, I'm doing inverted commas if you're not watching, we're going to call it off-piste from now on because it is fun, but it's dangerous because it's a slippery slope. There might be rocks there. There might be an avalanche. You don't know. It's not patrolled. It's not the safety of the piste where you're meant to ski. So have you gone off-piste? Have you had a little adventure and do you need to pull yourself back onto the piste, back onto the groom slopes where you should be? I love a little analogy. One of my little analogies. I'm good. So not much to tell from me. I'm in taper now, 3 weeks taper, which seems long, but I'm glad of it. I've already got the taper niggles. Now, if you don't run or do anything like this, you'll be like, what on earth are you talking about, Helen? Taper niggles. Taper niggles. I don't know if it's a psychological thing or if it is just your body recovering. I had my peak week, which is where you do the most activity, the most running. I did the most uphill, the most time of everything. Absolute beast mode, right? 52-mile week plus 2 hours of Stairmaster. Amazing, right? Loads of elevation. Then last week I had a really easy week. I don't even think I ran 30 miles. Did some uphill sessions, did a trail, great stuff. Did a couple of really good strength sessions. And I've got a few little niggles creeping up. And that's the point though, your body's adapting, it's recovering, you're giving it a chance to recover before race day. I've got a sports massage booked in this Saturday. That's exactly 1 week till race day. And I've really been focusing on some of my, not necessarily just strength work, but some of the movement patterns, like my hip was hurting and my my hamstring injury from nowhere was just like, not the injury was hurting and it's not back, but there was just little whispers. It's whispers of stuff. And then I went for a massive walk on Saturday. I walked to meet my friend Claire, and it's literally a 30-minute walk to meet her. Then we did an hour's walk around the race course, and then I walked back. But I was walking in under 15-minute miles. I could walk that fast now, so I could walk this ultra and still beat the cut-offs if I went that fast. But now my shins are sore. I haven't got shin splints, but they're a bit like sore. So I'm like, okay, so I need to be doing some foam rolling and lots of stretching and my hamstring. I call them exercises, but basically it's what the physio gave me. And you just like hold on pressure points and like feel your hamstrings working and feel all your muscles in your legs working. And it is just, I think it is psychological. Like the week before, you feel like, oh my God, I can't run. I'm not going to be able to do this. Then you get on the start line, full of carbs, full of energy, and off you go and you're like, oh, I can run. And you feel mint. I do love a taper. I don't like it during, but there are so many benefits on the day. You just feel amazing, like all the energy. So yeah, that's my current status. I'll be sleeping, resting. By this time next week, I think I'll be doing like my last run session. I have a few days where I don't do anything. I'll do stretching and stuff and walking. I always walk, but no strength training. Now, some people might get this wrong, by the way. I'll just add this in. I will do a full race debrief, including training, including absolutely everything after the ultra. But the thing that people get wrong is they're like, oh, well, I'm only using my legs, so I'll do, a really heavy upper body session on like the Thursday before a race. No. So you need to think of things differently, not just like, oh, I'm not using my arms, even though I do use my arms because I use my pulls. You're using energy. This is about reserving energy. So it's about your muscles recovering, your body recovering, and preserving energy. So from definitely Tuesday next week, no more. No exercise, apart from walking. I always walk the dog every morning. I'm going to do that. Plus, if you do nothing, you'll feel like a slug. Walking and probably some yoga and stretching. Bliss. Perfect. Perfection. Don't know what the weather's going to be like on the day. It's gone from 16 degrees. Bliss. Hello. Yes, please. Pray for me. That's an ideal temperature. To 26 degrees. Ew, farts. So what will be will be. And if it's hot, I just have to go slower. I have invested in a 1 litre pack because I've got my two 500 ml bottles, but I've got a 1 litre Camelback because the 2 litres too much with all my kit. But just that's going to be an emergency if it's hot, because I will go through at least 500 mils an hour. I should be doing that anyway. And obviously the checkpoints are a few hours difference. They're only about 10 miles, but I say only 10 miles. Some of you like, what? I can't even walk 10 miles, never mind run. But for me, a 10-mile run, I could go out and do a 10-mile run now and not take any fuel. I won't enjoy it near the end, but I could do it. Anything over an hour, you should be taking either some fuel and hydration with you. So I say everything over a 10k, and a 10 mile is about 16.5k. But I could do it. It wouldn't kill me. But when it's race day and it's hot and you're sweating that much, that could be, and in that terrain, it's hilly, it's rocky, it's everything. That could be 4 hours for 10 miles. So, no, 3 hours. Minimum I'll go is 3 miles an hour. So I'll need more fluid. 100 mil 1 hour, 500 mil the other hour. I've run out of water. Oh, farts. Yes, there's rivers, yes, there's streams, but unless you have a filter, you do not drink out of them, because you do not know if there's a dead sheep 200 metres above you in that river. I did actually see a dead sheep last time I was there. I saw 2. Right, TMI. Skip ahead probably a minute if you're a bit squeamish. If not, enjoy this. I went to stop for a wee and there was a dead sheep and it had obviously just died and its stomach had exploded. Ew. It had just happened recently and everything, its innards and everything was out. It looked like a lot of poo. And then I saw another one that had obviously fallen off a cliff down into a crevasse. It was in this water, because we were just like going down to this like crevasse and we're like, oh no, look, there's a dead sheep. Herdwick as well. Poor little thing. Upside down. That hadn't exploded yet. Anyway, sorry if I put you off there, and if you've skipped ahead a minute, welcome back. Ooh. Yeah, that's a bit of an update of me, where I'm at with my training, and I will be starting my carb load next Thursday. Carb load sounds fun, but then isn't, because you feel really full and bloated. But it's necessary, and it works so well. If you do it right, it works well. So yeah, the next couple of weeks is just about keeping ticking over, staying well, not getting ill, and keeping fresh. So that's it for me. It sounds a bit boring, but it's just life, cracking on with life. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk to you about today. I've got a really interesting topic that only came about because my client, so I'm just trying to get to my notes. My client, new client, I've worked with her before. She did a challenge with me before, and it's probably about, it was a year ago, and she's come back to work with me one-to-one to do the glow up. And she started her first week and did absolutely amazing. Like fantastic, 10 out of 10, tracking all the food. Same with a calorie deficit, really good. And for week 1, I don't even expect that. Doing all the steps, she did a workout, perfect, spot on. And then I didn't hear from her, and then she went off piste. We'll call it off piste for the weekend. My gosh. And she sent me this message, and I was like, this is going to resonate with so many of you out there. And she said, I'm stuck between you only live once and I'm trying to improve for my future life, okay, for my future self. And I was like, that is such an interesting topic to discuss. And it's prevalent, isn't it? That's how we feel. You go out, your friend says you want this, and you're like, oh no, I shouldn't, I'm dieting. And then they're like, go on, and you're like, oh, YOLO. And you feel like you're going to miss out. So I really want to talk about this today, because there's some tools and tips that I'm going to give you to help you, 1, understand this, and 2, well, it's not overcome it, it's accept it, but in a different way. So, why so many women feel torn between enjoying life and looking after their health. So this is one of the biggest mindset struggles I see. Women feel like every food choice is a choice between the fun version of themselves and the healthy version of themselves. And it creates this guilt, whichever option they choose. So and I used to be like this, especially in the sense of like, party Helen was fun Helen. And then there was healthy Helen, who's boring. We all see it. The language you use, oh, I'm being boring. Oh, I'm boring. I'm not going out. Or, oh, I'm boring and I'm eating a salad. Oh, you've gone out for a meal and you choose a healthier option, a lower calorie option. You go, oh, I'm being boring. That's the narrative we choose. And this is a struggle that I see a lot with women, and you're probably listening to this, either nodding along that you've either done this in your past or that you're still living this now. So this is the false choice though. This is the issue, right? You ready for this? The issue is that fun and healthy aren't opposites. I said this to my client. I said, you've got two paths. One's YOLO and one's future self. And at the minute, in the moment, you're like, oh, I'm just going to go down the YOLO because it's there. It's instant gratification. And you either go choosing one or the other. But the problem, the main thing is there's a path in the middle that none of you see. And this is unfortunately down to diet culture. It's things we've been taught, good or bad. You can't have this, you can't do that. And the compromise is in the middle. And that's what we need to relearn, that we can have both. But the key is, as always, say it out loud, moderation. Yes, I know you've been screaming at your podcast then. So we've been sold this idea that a healthy person never eats cake. And people who enjoy life don't care about nutrition. So you either, stuff it, eat everything, don't care, or you're like what we call like an almond mom. Have you heard of the phrase almond mom? It's these mums that are just like, they're more prevalent in America, but it's where they're like really healthy and you're not on crisps or treats or anything. And they're just like, like really healthy. Like I'll have the dressing on the side of a salad and they'll just eat the lettuce and tomato and chicken has to be poached, or just like obsessive healthiness, or the other side of like gluttony and overeat and do what you want. But there's a middle. So in reality, the healthiest people usually enjoy food, social occasions and celebrations, whilst also having habits that support their long-term health. It isn't one or another. Now, I'm making this sound really simple. Like I'll end the podcast there and go, off you go, enjoy that. No, because we need to relearn these things. And this is something I needed to relearn. So I always use myself as an example. 27-year-old Helen, getting pissed every night, smoking 20 fags, doing what she wanted, eating what she wanted, not really doing much exercise apart from occasionally skiing or, dancing the night away. That was like consumption, overconsumption. And then you got the other side of when I started getting healthy, I then got obsessive healthy. Carbs are the devil, bread is bad, this is all bad, which is mad because I still drink alcohol. Most of you as well. But like, I'm really healthy, but I'll still drink alcohol. And there's a bit of a line there because alcohol is in the middle. Well, no, alcohol's, yeah. If you're incorporating alcohol in a healthy diet, you are moderating. You're allowed to do what you want, obviously. I'm not saying that, but it's the same as having like cake or a McDonald's or something like that. Similar. You can't be the healthiest person in the world and still drink alcohol. Just FYI. But you can drink alcohol if you want to, in moderation. Obviously, I don't now because of my crazy habits, and I know I can't stop. So it isn't about choosing one or the other. It's about incorporating things. And if you've told yourself all your life that to be good, to be healthy, you need to eat a certain way, you've got years of unlearning that. I was speaking to a different client last week. She's been with me she's nearly finished her 12 weeks and I think she's going to carry on. And because we've only just started getting to the bottom of some of these habits. And I said to her, you think this is about 12 weeks, about changing, getting results in 12 weeks, when actually it's about unlearning habits that you had from when you were probably like 14. A child is a bit different. So you'll grow up as a child and there'll be different things, like if your parents said you couldn't have X, Y, and Z, or if you could have everything or different things like that. You start learning your habits and values then. But it's like when we're a teenager that we really start instilling them. And she actually said her mum was like a chronic Weight Watchers mum, chronic dieter, and that's what she grew up with and that's what she recognised. So if you're a parent now, by the way, and you've got a child, it doesn't even have to be a daughter, sons as well can pick up on these habits. If you're a chronic dieter or always yo-yoing or doing slimming clubs or things like that, they will pick up on that, that you will be remembered and they will learn some of your habits, positive or negative, through how you act around food. Just FYI. Obviously, I'm not a parent. I'm not parenting anyone. I'm not parenting you or your children, but just think about this because we learn a lot of our beliefs and values from childhood. So I said to this client, I said, this isn't a 12-week program for you. This is she was 42. This is like a 30-year program. Undoing 30 years. That's not going to take 12 weeks. That's going to take longer. So accept that. And she is making progress and we are making change. But you've got to accept sometimes that it takes time to undo these years of values, beliefs, and habits. You have to relearn these things, but it can be done. So don't you dare say to me, oh, I can't change. No, no, no. You don't want to change. I can't change isn't a sentence. It doesn't exist. You don't want to change. You're not willing to change. You're scared to change because it's about changing your identity as well. And you can be scared of that as well. Feel the fear and do it anyway, girls, because if it leads to you being happier and healthier, what have you got to lose? That's where you should have YOLO. What's the point in like not doing it? So you've got the immediate gratification of the YOLO experience versus the future reward of looking after yourself properly. So our brains are designed to value rewards we get now over rewards we'll receive later. The biscuit gives you pleasure now, instantly. Yum, 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 biscuit. Better health, more confidence and longevity are rewards months or years away. Oh, I'll do it next week. It don't matter. Understanding this helps you realise that it's not lack of willpower, it's human psychology. It's how we think, it's how we act, and it's what we do. So why YOLO is often a justification and not the real reason you eat. So most of the time you've already decided to eat something because we're tired, stressed, hungry, emotional, or because everyone else is, e.g. you only live once. This is often the story our brain tells us afterwards to make us feel better about the decision. So the YOLO thing and the immediate gratification... YOLO is justification. Immediate gratification is like, this is going to make me feel good in the now. So how do you overcome this? It's not about willpower. It's not about, right, next weekend, you're just going to be tougher. Yeah, off you go. Doesn't work. Does not work. You need to change how you think about these things. And that comes down to control and planning. I use this example all the time with my girls, and I need to come up with a full name for it because it refers to so many different occasions that will happen to you whilst you're going on this journey and having an identity battle. And I always say there's an angel on your shoulder and there's a devil, okay? Good or bad, use what you want. You know, positive voice, negative voice. Now, you've got to the weekend, you've smashed your week, you're doing really well. Angel's like, oh, yeah, go on. You're amazing. Gets the weekend, you go to meet a friend and they're like, let's get cake. And your devil goes, do it. This is because your angel isn't loud enough. Now, to make your good cop louder, repetition, planning, and preparation. Repetition is the more you do it, the more this voice will be louder. The good voice. And the quiet, it's like, oh, I don't get my own way anymore, I'll just be quiet. So repetition, number one. The more you practice this, the better it'll get. Now, how do you practice this in the first place? Because it's just not just like, no, I don't want the cake. No, planning. You know you're meeting Sarah for lunch on Saturday. You know she's going to ask you if you want cake, so there's a few little things you need to do. This is where it comes down to pre-planning. Number one, you need to have eaten a good breakfast so that you're not absolutely ravenous when you go to meet at 11 o'clock in the morning. Number two, you need to message Sarah and be like, should we go for a walk with a coffee instead? You can get an Americano with some skimmed milk. Off you go. Making all of 20 calories. Number three, you need to have a reward in mind for in the future to keep you on track. And by reward, that can be absolutely anything. If you love cake, have a slice of your favourite cake. If you love fish and chips, have some fish and chips. If you want to go out for a meal, have a meal planned in the future. This can't be an everyday thing. You can't keep doing what you're doing and expect to get the same results, right? We don't need this overconsumption, this gluttony, everything we have. Cake, special occasions, certain things that you really want though, not just like, oh, here's a piece of Colin the caterpillar that's going around from Jimmy's birthday. Jimmy's like your second cousin's niece's uncle. Do you want that? And it's the dry bit in the middle. And you're like, oh, I'm just eating this because I've been given it. No thanks. I'm going to have a slice of my favourite red velvet at my favourite cafe in 2 weeks' time when I go meet my best mate. That will keep you going for longer. Because the problem is you're going into that situation going, right, whatever you do, don't get the cake. Just don't get the cake. You don't need the cake. Not having the cake, not having the cake, don't have the cake, don't have the cake, don't have the cake. Do you want the cake? Yes. Because you've not given yourself any reward in the future to work towards. And this has to be something specific to you. Everyone's different. My birthday, I talk about a lot. I always like birthday and Christmas. I have certain things that I always have that I save up for the year, and I love them and I indulge and I enjoy them guilt free, and it's part of your plan and everything's on piste. You're on the green slope. You're on a black slope. You're having the best time ever. It's about the plan and it's about the preparation, preparing yourself for certain situations, knowing that every time you go into the office, you work from home, you go to the office once a week, someone will offer you some biscuits or some sweets. It's a bloody custard cream. Put it down. No thanks. I've got my protein yogurt and an apple or some berries. I'm satisfied. Whereas if you go into the office, not brought any food, and they're offering you biscuits and it's 11 o'clock and you've not eaten yet, oh, I'm really hungry, so I'm just going to say yes. It's about your preparation before. You've had a good breakfast, you've taken a mid-morning snack, because you know that's when you get hungry. Everyone is different with this. This is why you can't just give out a generalised plan. I look at each of my clients individually and they all have a separate plan. One of my other girls at the minute, we are still working on Friday afternoons. For some reason, her week, Friday afternoon, something happens during the week where she's really busy. She'll sit down on a Friday afternoon and it's like, boom. So we're working on plans. Did you plan your Friday afternoon treat? Did you have your treat then? Did you have your snack, something you enjoy? Not just 4 muesli bars. And it's about control and practice. And then if it doesn't work, we work on a different solution. Then it comes down to the identity battle. So this is the hardest one to shift because this is your belief of who you are. So many women don't want to become the boring one. I'm boring, who always says no. They worry that looking after themselves means giving up spontaneity. But what if your identity became someone who enjoys food and values it for their health? Two things can absolutely coexist. It's the language we use. Like if I said, binge food, cake, sweets, biscuits, takeaways, the stuff that's high calorie, protein, low protein, non-nutrient dense food, like the stuff that we enjoy in moderation, that 20%, 80% the good stuff, 20%. If I change that to heroin and said, come on, what do you say? Shoot up. I shouldn't use these phrases. Come on. I don't want to be the boring one, so I'll join in. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You just wouldn't do it. Now, I know heroin's a very, very, everyone goes, but, and I'm not comparing cake to heroin, all right? But all I'm trying to compare it to is, you're the one that's decided you're boring if you don't do it. When I became sober, part of me did worry that, I'd lose a lot of friends or my life would, well, it did. My life did change, but for the better, because I don't need it anymore. And I chose that my drinking, because it was so bad, this is the problem. Eating a piece of cake every week or a takeaway you're not at that line where it's actually really detrimental to your health. You can't see what it's doing. This is why you can't see in the future. But I knew that me stopping drinking would be changing my identity and that I might get people saying I'm boring and things. People don't actually say it to me, which is odd. I think people know that I was so wild when I was younger. Like all my old rep friends, I haven't actually seen any for years. And if we hung out, it'd be really different because I don't drink. So, and I don't enjoy being in those environments anymore. I can go to a party, a good one, with a DJ. I can still do karaoke, but I'm Cinderella minus an hour and a half. 10:30, I am done. Get me out of there. I love a gig. Dancing, singing. Oh, you should have seen me at the Busted concert a couple of years ago. Every single word belted out, non-stop, jumped around. As soon as it finished, I'm off to bed. Whereas old Helen, as soon as it finished, would be off to another pub or after party or somewhere else. But I changed my habits. I changed who I am. And if you've got friends or people around you that will not support you or call you boring or say, what's wrong with you or this or that or the other, degrading you for making a healthy choice, one, it says more about them than it does you. And two, get some new friends. There's is it 8 billion people in this world? There's you people out there. You trying to make improvements on your life, if someone doesn't support that. And what I mean by support it, right, is if you genuinely have a conversation with someone and say, look, I'm doing this, I want to feel better, most of the time you'll either influence people to join you or you'll just grow apart from those people that don't want to support you on your journey. And that's okay too. You know, reason, season, lifetime. You have friendships or relationships for a reason. So like when I was a rep, the reason we were all like, oh my God, some amazing friendships with people that I've not spoken to since, or occasionally I'll see a post on social media or something, but I still think of them fondly and smile. People that I met for a season who are like my best friends, like we were like best friends and that's it. I've never seen them again. Best friends for 6 months. Bye. See you never. But I think fondly of them. Reason. Oh, is that the right one? Or is that a season? Season, I think, is a bit longer. And then you have lifetime, people that you're friends for a lifetime. But I don't have many of those either because my identity shifted so many times throughout my life. My closest friends and relationships, I only now only met once I got sober. And they've not actually ever known me as drunk, crazy Helen, who wasn't very healthy. And that might sound scary to some of you, but it's also an opportunity. There's so many opportunities. There's so many people out there. And I'm not saying you have to get rid of your old life, but if you don't want to, you know, oh, me and this person, we always go to this restaurant and eat this or do this. You can just say to that person, like, should we do something different this time? I love my relationships. Two of my like best relationships, apart from Martin, obviously, my best mate Fee, the things we've done. I've known that girl, lady, for not quite 5 years, 4.5 years. I met my best mate and my partner, Martin. So Fee is my best mate, partner mine, around the same time, the same month, sort of, we became friends, which is mad, isn't it? So 4.5 years, really, nearly 5 years. It'll be 5 years in January. Anyway, the things we've done high rocks competitions, we've done CrossFit competitions, we do swim and sauna sessions, we go to spas, we've done sunrise hikes, we've been to comedy gigs, we've been to a concert, we've been for brunches, we've done a self-defense class, we've done, like, the things we've done together are actually a bit mad. We never do, like, we'll do all walk and talk and stuff, but we don't do like usual stuff. We always do like activities and fun stuff and things like that. So there are there's like your people out there. If you like crochet, you'll find a group that does crochet. If you like Dungeons and Dragons, you'll find a group that likes it. That's quite an obvious one. There's loads of groups that. If you like gardening, allotments and stuff, it's really exciting when you start to look at a different identity and your authentic self and who you are and who you want to be. There are so many opportunities out there and so many people. So the right people will stay with you and the wrong people will just drift apart. Life's too short for negative relationships. So then, God, I went on a massive tangent there, but back in the room. The next point is scarcity mindset. Now, we have this a lot. So diet culture teaches us to think that every opportunity to eat something is rare. I better have it while I can. Oh, this always goes back to the time I ate a full pack of ginger nuts. I talk about it all the time. If you've not heard this story before, started a pack of ginger nuts, one of those really long, cheap ones, just Aldi owned, probably cost 49p at the time. I reckon there was 30 ginger nuts in it, just the small circles. Started eating them, probably got halfway through and thought, well, I'll just finish it because I might as well finish it. By the end, I couldn't even feel my tongue. Not nice, not enjoyable. This was years ago. I won't do this now. I've learnt moderation and I can enjoy one biscuit and then put them down and have another like in a week or 2 weeks the next day. I've just finished a pack of Stroop waffles that lasted me over a month. Excellent, by the way, Stroop waffle. Shouldn't encourage you, but that's a good treat. One a week, 189 calories. You can fit that in. On top of a cup of tea, let it melt. Oh, 10 out of 10. Excellent if you're running, by the way, girls. That and a cup of tea, 10 miles into a 20-mile run. But here's the issue. So the office biscuits, the supermarket chocolate, the takeaway aren't once in a lifetime. When you start thinking about this stuff, you go, oh, yeah. Because they're always there. You know, the sweets, the crisps, the chocolate. It's not going to be like, oh, I can only have it this time. It's there. It's always there. Do you really want it? Do you really need it? When you stop seeing food as scarce and the urgency disappears and your choices become calmer and then you become more regulated, one of the main things here that I touched on before is making sure you eat before occasions. Loads of weddings at the minute, summer or festivals. You've got a festival or a wedding in the evening. It's going to be an all-you-can-eat beige buffet, right? Onto a winner. There is what there is there. So you don't eat breakfast and lunch to save yourself for that evening. So you end up drinking a few drinks, absolutely ravenous, eating the whole buffet, and then a takeaway on the way home. What would have been a better option? Having a breakfast, decent. Having a lunch, decent, nutrients, protein, you know the score. And then enjoying the buffet and evening entertainment in moderation without being gluttonous and over-consuming. It's our habits and these things that we do over time. And once you start doing that, you actually start feeling better. Then you're like going, well, I don't actually need that. It does work. Trust me. I've lived it. I've walked it. I've done it. And I still do it now. And now my difference is I can just have one summer and put it back. The other week, I can't remember what I was doing, but I'd been for a long run. And then Sunday afternoon, usually, if the weather's not great, we'll watch a film or something. And I'd had my lunch and then I got my cup of tea and I got a couple of snacks. And I remember, I think I had one of my snacks, like a Graze bar or something. I absolutely love them. And then there was something else. And I was like, I actually don't want that. And I put it back. Old me would never do that. I just wouldn't do it. And it's not like, oh, someone's watching, I best not eat that, or things like that. It's just like, actually, I don't want it. I've become my own, like, master. Like, I've got my own autonomy. Wow, who knew we could do this? And you can do it as well. Don't you dare be saying to me now, through the podcast, oh, I can't do that. I can never do that. That's your beliefs. If you believe you can never do that, you'll never be able to do it. If you believe you can do it, you'll do it. You have to believe in yourselves. Stop telling yourselves this narrative. The narrative and how you speak to yourself is what you believe. So what does living your life actually mean? So ask yourself what your happiest memories are. Chances are they involve people, laughter, travel, celebrations, and connection. Food may be part of these moments, and we use food in a lot of things. I love food, and I love socializing, and I love events, but it's rarely the thing that made them memorable. Like, like, oh, that was the best wedding ever. That salmon was the highlight of the night. It was the dance floor. It was the connection. It was the wedding speeches. It was watching her walk down the aisle with a smile on her face and remembering your wedding or feeling the love of someone else or just being in this shared environment. It wasn't the all-you-can-eat buffet, beige buffet in the evening that is usually a bit like that. Pot pie's not great either. But that's what you remember. So that's very different from mindlessly snacking because something is there. It's different. Yeah, your memories. And I want you to enjoy food and I want you to enjoy the memories. And one thing I work with my clients on is like, I've got a few clients going to weddings at the minute and I'm like, right, what can you do about it? There's the food that's included. You're at the wedding. You're not going to be like, no, I can't. I've brought my own Tupperware. Please don't do that. You're going to enjoy the wedding food, but you're going to be in control. And it's about what you do before and after that counts. Are you going to be hungover the next day? Do you want some, fast food for the next day? Is it better to get a frozen ristorante pizza, which is like 500 calories, and have some coleslaw with it and a big salad and enjoy it, than waking up hungover and eating like McDonald's and then not feeling full and eating more and more and more? Like, planning your hangover food is as important as planning your event because it's the next day that counts. Because a wedding on a Saturday evening is only one meal out of 21 in a week. That's not going to mess you up. It's what you do before and what you do after. That's what messes you up. For mindless eating versus meaningful eating, there's a huge difference between sharing your favourite dessert on holiday and eating the leftover cake in the staff room because you walk past it. One adds value to your life, the other is just a habit. Learning the difference is where food freedom starts. One of my other girls, the other week, I was talking to her. Well, she actually brought it up with me and she went, Helen, I know where I'm going wrong. I'm eating all the kids' leftovers. And I'm like, why? She's like, I don't like waste. And I'm like, well, think of it as, putting fat on you or putting fat in the bin. None of us like waste. I hate waste. Absolutely not. If anything, save the leftovers and give them back to your kids the next day. But don't, or give them to your partner. Martin's great with leftovers. All the leftovers, Martin, he loves it. Mix them all together. Off he goes. But that's the narrative you're telling yourself. It's like, you don't like waste. Yeah, I hate waste. But you're not, buying a full chicken dinner and going, oh, I'm just going to chuck that in the bin. This is literally leftovers, little scraps. Give it to the birds, give it to, like, if you can do something like that. But we have to change the narrative. Don't be wasteful, but also Don't eat it yourself just to save on waste. Change your narrative. So here's a question that changes everything. Instead of asking, can I have this or should I be good? Ask, is this adding to my life or am I just satisfying an automatic urge? Once you start asking yourself questions before you just mindlessly grab something and eat it, do you want a biscuit? Pause. Let me just think about that. Is this something I really want now? Or is it just because I've not eaten breakfast? Answer. No thanks, I actually think I need something else. 9 times out of 10 you'll say no. If it's planned, you'll enjoy it. You'll look forward to it. It'll be a ceremony. It'll be part of your life. Birthdays, Christmas, never track, enjoy. Head first, indulge. Everything else, plan it in. So health and enjoyment can work together. Looking after yourself doesn't mean removing joy from your life. In fact, when you're healthier, you often enjoy life more. More energy, more confidence, more adventures, more years with the people you love. Food becomes part of full life rather than the centre of it. So the goal isn't to say yes to every opportunity to eat, and it isn't to say no to everything either. This is why it's hard. There's no rulebook on this. There's the nuance in between that you have to work out what works for you. It's to become intentional. Choose the foods and moments that genuinely enrich your life and let go of the ones that don't. This is your choice. You have to choose. That's where both happiness and long-term health meet. And remember, you are in control. This is your life. You can do stuff. Stop saying I can't, because you can. All right, hope you enjoyed that. I got very ranty, but hopefully some tips and tricks to help. If you like this, then please give me a 5-star review. If you didn't like it, then just don't come back. That's fine. You don't have to review. Begging for reviews. No, honestly, I like your opinion, and please comment below if this helped you. And if there's any topics you'd like me to cover or anything you're struggling with, put it in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Bye.